Ask almost anyone what it means to follow Jesus Christ, and they will point you straight to Christianity. It is an automatic association. The Christian faith spans the globe. Its iconography towers over entire cities, and its cultural footprint is impossible to ignore. But there is a completely different way to look at this. What if truly following the teachings of Jesus actually required rejecting the very religion that bears his name? From the Islamic perspective, the modern worship of Jesus is a man-made invention. It is a thick layer of institutional theology built entirely over the actual historical man. To find the real Jesus, you have to peel back centuries of dogma. You have to understand the hard line between a prophet who delivers a message and an idol who becomes the object of worship. In the Islamic tradition, Jesus is a human prophet, a man who experienced hunger, thirst, and total dependence on a higher power. Historical records consistently show Jesus praying, an act that suggests a need for guidance. An all-powerful, self-sufficient being would have no reason to petition a higher authority. He explicitly stated his own limitations. He admitted there were things he simply could not do of his own accord, acknowledging a higher authority that governed his actions. God created Adam from dust with a simple command. Creating Jesus in the womb required that same divine word, resulting in a mortal man who shares Adam's status as a created being. His original message was entirely focused on strict monotheism. He called his followers to submit to a single, incomprehensible creator, rather than elevating himself to divine status. The historical Jesus lived as a practicing, submissive monotheist. That lived reality stands in stark opposition to the religious practices that were later built in his name. The divergence happened in the centuries that followed his life. The institutional church began establishing dogmas, pulling further away from how Jesus actually lived. The most obvious shift was theological. The church adopted the Trinity, attempting to merge three separate entities into one divine being. From an Islamic viewpoint, this defies basic arithmetic. Claiming 1 + 1 + 1 = 1 suspends human reason. Then there is the iconography. The church adopted the symbol of the cross, venerating the very instrument they believe was used to murder their savior. If a loved one was violently killed, wearing the weapon used to end their life would be unthinkable. You wouldn't wear a miniature axe around your neck to remember them. The daily practices of the faith drifted as well. Modern congregants readily consume things Jesus historically avoided entirely, casually drinking wine and eating swine while claiming to follow his example. Through all of these theological and cultural shifts, the focus subtly changed. Humanity pivoted away from worshiping the Creator who made everything and started worshiping the creation instead. The consequence of this shift is that modern devotion often acts as love in disguise. It becomes a blind affection that actively ignores the strict boundaries Jesus set during his life. That blind affection eventually turns a human prophet into a venerated image. It crosses the line straight into idolatry. Rejecting this kind of worship isn't meant to be an attack on his character. In fact, refusing to worship him is aligning with exactly what he preached. He would have despised being treated as a deity. When a bolt of lightning strikes a towering statue of Jesus, it mirrors the very destruction of icons that the Islamic text describes. It highlights a physical rejection of the objects man builds to represent the divine. For Muslims, honoring Jesus means following his actual instructions. It means taking the worship away from him and directing their prayers solely toward God, exactly as he asked them to. To Muslims, loving Jesus means prioritizing historical accuracy and active obedience. It is a commitment to protecting his monotheistic legacy from the institutional structures that eventually claimed his name.